What is going on, guys? Dalton here, back with another episode of DC Collects. Today is quite the day. We're getting rid of all the Funko Pops, guys. Let's get collecting. Okay, so I'm not actually getting rid of all my Funko Pops, guys, but I was sitting around last night thinking, what would happen or what would I do to start my collection over again if for some reason I had to get rid of all my Funko Pops? So I know when I started collecting, it was kind of overwhelming, and I honestly wish I knew what I knew today when I started, obviously. But there was a lot of times in the beginning when I started collecting that I was really kicking myself in the butt later for making some purchases that I maybe shouldn't have made, or just diving in a little too quick, guys. So we're gonna go over my top 5 tips for starting a new Funko Pop collection in 2023. Okay, so to start things off, guys, tip number 1, gonna keep it simple. You just gotta find out basically what do you like. So Funko Pops come in a bunch of different varieties. There's movie genres, rock pops, television, anime, sports, icons, NFTs. Basically, guys, if you have a favorite TV show, movie, or even just a favorite fictional character in general, I would look it up to see if there's a Funko Pop, because I bet you there is. And it doesn't just stop at fictional characters, guys. As I just said, there's a rock line, which includes various different music artists, icons, which are usually famous people, and so much more. So if you really like something, and I mean anything, look it up to see if it's a Funko Pop or has a line of Funko Pops before you go out and maybe settle for the line that has just came out and you do like them, but it's not your favorite. And as a Funko Pop collector, you're gonna have to learn early, you only have so much space. And speaking of space, guys, that is gonna be tip number 2. And as I said, guys, there is gonna be 5 tips, but definitely stick around to the end because I want to talk a little bit about fake Funko Pops, which everybody should know about, especially beginners, because they are becoming very prevalent in the hobby and almost ruining it to a certain extent. So definitely some must needed information that I'm going to share at the end of the video. But tip number 2, how much space do you have, guys? This is something that you definitely want to plan out before you go purchasing Funko Pops. You might even want to make sure you have your dedicated display area already set up. Not only is this going to look really aesthetically pleasing and look good when you set up your Funko Pops can be an investment and worth money down the future. So you definitely want to keep them in a safe place, and the point of them is to basically have them to show them off. So you definitely want a display area, so that's what I recommend. A lot of people start buying them and they end up sitting on the edge of a shelf, maybe even falling over and getting neglected, and that's when you start to not care about them as much. And tip number 3, guys, so I just think you should really decide this earlier in your collecting career than later, but are you going to collect in or out of box? So you definitely have to go check out my last video. I'll leave a link up in the corner at the end of this video, but I go in depth talking about in and out of box pops and the pros and cons behind that. But long story short, if you're going to collect out of box, it is going to take up a little bit more room, guys, so definitely try and figure that out before you start collecting. So now you know what you like, you know how much space you have, and you know whether you want to collect in or out of box. So next, guys, you're going to start researching the pops that you like. So what do I mean by that? Well, you're already doing some research right now by watching DC Collects. Be a great time right now, guys, to smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, consider hitting the subscribe button and hitting that bell notification so you're notified whenever I make new future content. But not only that, guys, you could even just Google the pop to see what kind of information comes up, or go to Pop Price Guide, type in the name of the pop, and you can usually get a pretty good history of the pop on that site as well. But I do say to do the research, guys, just because sometimes they'll come out with a common version of a Funko Pop that you really like and you didn't know it, but there was an exclusive version that was maybe only $10 more that you like a lot better, say the glow-in-the-dark version or the flocked version or the metallic version. And since you only have so much space, you are gonna probably want to get the metallic or exclusive version. Maybe not, but at least in doing your research, you'll know what options you have. It's also really good to research prices, guys, because as we all know, a lot of people are definitely trying to make money off of selling Funko Pops, or flipping them, I should say. So you definitely want to know your prices so you're not overpaying, or I should say even too underpaying, because usually if a price is too good to be true, guys, that's usually usually a good sign of a fake Funko Pop. And what I mean by too good to be true is way too low. So if you see a pop that's worth $70 for sale for $35, that's a pretty good red flag that that's a fake Funko Pop. And that was tip number 4, guys. So getting into the last tip before we get into talking about fake Funko Pops, that is tip number 5, which is be patient, guys. So I do have talked about this a few times, and the seasoned collectors who are watching will definitely know you always want to be patient, guys. So what do I mean by that? They're gonna drop some really cool stuff every now and again, and sometimes it sells out so quick, the flippers get them first, that the only way you can get them is on the secondary market for a crazy price. So sometimes it's a good idea to hold out, because usually those pops will come back down in price and you don't want to overpay. But another thing that's been happening with Funko lately is I find they will drop their first wave of commons for a new TV show or movie. A great example is the new Guardians of the Galaxy Funko Pops. All of their commons are basically dropped right now, and there's a few exclusives that you could see in the trailer, but I have a funny feeling that we're going to see even more exclusives coming up due to the fact of how popular it was. But like I said, they're dropping the commons first so that you go out, purchase the commons, and then a few months later they put them out. They come out with the exclusives so that you also go purchase those too. And I can't tell you how many times, guys, I've gone out, bought a Funko Pop that just came out and has been hyped up all over the internet. So naturally I get hyped up, go buy the Funko Pop, and kick myself in the butt later because I really didn't need or really didn't actually want that Funko Pop in my collection, and I would have rather put that money towards something else. And that's how you build a collection that you're really proud of. So those are my 5 tips, guys, but as promised, we're going to talk a little bit about fake Funko Pops now, guys. So they are kind of ruining the hobby right now, I won't lie, guys. So as soon as a Funko Pop goes above $100, you can almost guarantee yourself that there is some form of fake on the market, unfortunately. So that's why it is super important, guys, and the 100% most guaranteed way to make sure you're not going to get scammed is by buying from a reputable Funko Pop retailer or a friend. There's tons of different ways to try and tell the fakes apart, guys. I do have another video which I'll link up in the corner, but basically, besides buying from a reputable Funko dealer or a friend, you just really have to vet out the places that you're going to buy these places from, guys. If they have a great reputation and they've been known in the community for a long time, it's up to you to decide if you're going to trust them, but that's usually a good sign for me. You know, they have lots of good reviews, they've been in the community for a long time, and they're known as a trusted seller. That'll be someone to go to as well. Definitely a big thing in the hobby right now in general, guys. Another thing is sticker swaps. So those of you who know, con stickers are big time being swapped right now. So usually the con sticker version of a pop is going to be worth a lot more than the shared sticker, and what a lot of people are doing is buying the con sticker version of the pops that aren't selling for as much money, and then the shared sticker of the pops that are selling for a lot of money, and doing a sticker swap. And the guys that are really good at it, guys, you cannot even tell that it was swapped barely. You'll probably only be able to tell 6 months down the road when the sticker starts peeling or something like that. But super important to buy from a reputable dealer, guys. I usually say, to rule of thumb, if you ever have any inkling in a transaction that something's kind of fishy, I wouldn't go through with it. Double, triple check everything before you go through with the purchase. And if you're in communication with a seller and he's not providing very much communication, you want to see pictures, he won't show you pictures, any kind of request that you're making about the product, and if he doesn't want to communicate with you, that would be a big red flag for me too, and I'd probably back out of that deal as well. And also, as I said before in this video, guys, it's too good to be true. It is, okay? So if a Funko Pop that you know is selling for $100 pops up on eBay for $50, I can guarantee you that is a fake Funko Pop. No one is going to lose $50 on a Funko Pop. There's just no one on earth that's willing to do that. That is someone who has a fake Funko Pop that they bought for $5 and they're selling for $50. So if it's too good to be true, guys, it definitely is. But anyways, guys, that was definitely not an exhaustive list. There's so much to learn about Funko Pop collecting, so do your research. Always do research. The more you know, knowledge is power, definitely in this hobby, guys. So can't stress research enough. And leave a comment down below, guys. Give If you are a seasoned collector, I'd love to hear some of your collecting tips. Let's share the knowledge, guys. And if you're a new Funko Pop collector, I'd love to hear from you as well. But anyways, guys, that is all I have for you tonight. Thanks so much for watching today's video. We'll catch you in the next one.